Autism Ontario, it's Shawna, and I'm going to show you how to make my favorite Fiesta dessert, churros. For this recipe, you're going to need Pillsbury crescent rolls, you'll need butter, you'll need white sugar, and ground cinnamon. You're also going to need something to melt butter in, as well as something to spread melted butter. You will need a pizza cutter, or if you don't have one of those, a sharp knife will work. You will need a small bowl and spoon. You will need a 1 teaspoon and 1 tablespoon measuring spoon. You'll also need a parchment paper and a cookie sheet, as well as an oven. Now, if you're not comfortable using a sharp knife or the oven, please grab a parent or guardian now, gather up all your materials, wash your hands, and I'll see you back here in a minute to get started. Welcome back, everyone. Our first step is to preheat our oven to 375 so that it's ready to go when we need to bake our churros. After you set your oven to 375, you're going to take your 2 tablespoons of butter or margarine and use a microwave to melt it. When your butter's melted, you're just going to set it off to the side, and our next step is going to be to make our cinnamon sugar drizzle for the churros. So for this, you are going to need your 2 measuring spoons and your sugar and cinnamon. We're going to start by measuring 2 tablespoons of white sugar and putting it into our bowl. When you've got your sugar all measured, you're going to take 1 teaspoon of your ground cinnamon and also put it into the bowl. Just take your spoon and you're going to mix it so that it's well mixed together for when we use it on our churro pastry. And when it's all mixed together, you can put it off to the side and we'll come back to it in a bit. Our next step is to take our Pillsbury crescent rolls, open the container, and spread the pastry out flat on a piece of parchment paper on our counter. You're going to notice when you open them up that they're actually separated into triangles. You're going to want to make sure that you don't separate them fully. We're going to actually want the pastry to be in a rectangular shape, and you're going to get about 4 of those with one of these crescent roll containers. So once you have your crescent rolls out of the container, hopefully it didn't take you as long as it took me, you're going to roll it out, and you'll notice that they come already pre-ripped for you. And again, you're going to want to keep them in the rectangular shape that they're in. You're not going to separate along the line here to make them into triangles. So you're going to get 4 rectangular pieces out of one of the containers, and you're going to leave 2 off to the side, and we're going to work with these 2 over here. You're going to want to pinch together the seam in the pastry just so that it doesn't cause you problems later. Just pinch it together and then flatten it down like I have here, just so you can no longer see the line. And you're going to want to do that with all 4 of your rectangles. Okay, so When you've pinched together your seams so that they're all one piece of rectangle pastry, you're going to grab your melted butter and whatever you're using to spread your melted butter, and on 2 of the pastries, you're gonna just spread some of the butter on top, and this is just so that our sugar and cinnamon mixture will stick, and so that it'll help cook it properly. So again, not too much, just enough so that our sugar mixture will stick. And then we're gonna put our butter off to the side again, and we're going to grab our cinnamon sugar mixture. So you can either use a spoon or your fingers. I'm gonna use my fingers, I find it easier. And we're gonna spread most of the cinnamon sugar between these 2 that we just spread butter on. And then we're gonna save a little bit of the sugar for our topping later. So when you've completely covered your 2 pieces of pastry with your cinnamon sugar mixture, you are then going to take the top 2 rectangles that we haven't touched yet and place them on top of the 2 that we put butter and cinnamon on. You might find that they're separating a little bit on the other side. That's just because we only pinched the 1. So not to worry, just pinch it together and try and stretch it out a little bit so that they're about the same length. So now that we've got our 2 pastries covered with the cinnamon sugar in the middle, our next step is to take our pizza cutter. And again, if you're not comfortable using a pizza cutter or a sharp knife, please get an adult or a guardian to come and help you, because our next step is we're actually going to cut the pastry into about 4 to 5 long strips. You'll probably notice that they come apart. That's totally okay. And with each strip, you're going to pinch the ends and twist. So you're gonna twist it about 3 times from the top, just to get sort of this shape, and then you're gonna place it on your cookie sheet with your parchment paper. So you're gonna continue to do this until all of your pastry is cut into strips and on your cookie sheet. Once you've got all of your churros cut and twisted on your baking sheet, you're going to take the rest of your butter and you're going to spread it across the tops as best you can of the churro pastries. And then we're going to sprinkle our cinnamon on top of the melted butter, just to give the outside of the churros a little bit of cinnamon sugar as well. When you're done with your churros, they should look something like this. And you're gonna head on over to the oven and put them in on the middle rack for between 9 and 11 minutes. Make sure you set a timer and make sure you watch them because they do have a tendency to cook quickly depending on the type of oven you have. So when your churros are ready, they'll look something like this. And you can feel free to eat them at any time. Usually they're eaten when they're warm, and often they're dipped into either a caramel or a chocolate sauce, but it's completely up to you. So you can either purchase caramel sauce or chocolate sauce from the store, or you can make your own by melting those little square caramels on the stovetop or by melting chocolate chips in the microwave. It's completely up to you. You don't actually have to dip them in anything. Sometimes they just make them a little bit tastier. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and enjoy your churros. Make sure to share them with everybody at your fiesta and comment to let us know how yours turned out. Thanks for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you again soon.